All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be breaking down UFC 301. So, awesome card. We got 14 fights to talk about. It's going to be a stacked card. Going to be a lot of good fights, a lot of exciting fights, a lot of violent fights. So, I'm really looking forward to it. I already have a bunch of bets made, have a few more bets on my little notepad that I'm going to be looking at throughout the week. Still waiting for some props to drop on the domestic books like FanDuel, DraftKings, and whatnot. It looks like my audio might be lagging, so if you guys see that, let me know. But other than that, I'm good to go. Just a quick heads up, I'll go over it at the end of the show. Also, for next week and the week after, I won't be in America anymore. I'll be in Thailand. I'll be away there for 2 weeks, so my breakdowns will be a little different. I'm not going to be going live. Just going to upload something that I record there, and I don't know the exact times yet. I have to get a feel for the time zone change and all that. So I'll have the times out for you guys later, probably next week. And yeah, just a heads up there. And definitely going to be less bets for me for those 2 weeks, just because I won't be able to go as in depth. But I am doing all my tape early, going through which card is it next week? Is that St. Louis? I can't keep up, but going over the Derek Lewis card actually today after this breakdown. So all right, let's do it. Let's hop right in. We got MMA clips in the chat. What's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Road Squatch, Pick'em Raid. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. Welcome to the chat. And so, yeah, first fight up, we've got Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Costa, he's 13-4-0, 28 years old. He's 5'4" with a 67-inch reach. On the other side, Borjas, he's 9-2-0. He's 26, so he's going to be 2 years younger, 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 1 inch reach advantage. For me, this is a Borjas spot. I liked it better at plus 130. That's where I played it. Now where it's getting close, I would still probably play Borjas because I think about a pick'em is correct. But I do understand why Costa could possibly be a slight favorite. He is going to have the grappling upside here of the two of them. That's clear as day. That's going to be a path for him. And he's also a decent striker. He does also have power. So I get why he's a slight favorite. But at the same time, watching Costa, to me, was extremely aggravating. I mean, the guy doesn't do anything. He doesn't throw. If he threw, okay, he'd look better, but he's not doing anything. He's coming out there and just staring at people and just not doing anything. He'll throw a little bit, it'll look good, and then he'll just stop. So the output is piss poor. His wrestling is good, but it's not like super high level. The jiu-jitsu is very good, but he's also not wrestling all that much. He's not going to that wrestling. And when he is, like I said, I don't think it's super, super high level, the wrestling itself. The jiu-jitsu, yeah. The control, yeah. But other than that, actually getting it to the ground, I don't think he's that amazing. On the feet, he's a good striker, but a lot of it is loopy. You don't see a lot of straight strikes from him. You don't see a lot of jabs or 1-2s. He depends on that power. And for me, Borjas, I like his striking a lot. I think he's the cleaner striker. I think he's seriously going to have a significant output advantage. He does stuff. He comes out there and he throws. He goes for it, whereas Costa doesn't do anything. So I think Borjas will do more on the feet. I think he's going to land more. I think his combos are better. I like how he goes to the body really well. Is the grappling like a possible bad thing here for him? For sure. I can see that happening. I can see Costa getting some takedowns, but I think Borjas' takedown defense is decent. I think it's already improving. I think the get-ups are pretty good. He's careful. He tries to keep his back against the fence. So for me, Borjas as an underdog here is a pretty simple play. I was more than happy to make it at plus 130. Now, a little less good, but still a decent line. He's still the dog. MMA clips over here saying Costa looks like he's on those good. Yeah, I mean, he looks ripped, but he always looks ripped. Doesn't change the fact that he comes out there and just doesn't do anything and just stares at his opponents. Sometimes I get so pissed off when watching tape and somebody just doesn't do stuff. I don't know why. I get so pissed off. But yeah, for me, it's a Borjas spot. We can move on. What's up, Glenbot? Happy to see you in the chat, brother. All right, next up, we've got Ismael Bonfim versus Vinc Pichel. Bonfim 19-4-0. He's 28 years old, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. Pichel 14-3-0. He's 41, so he's going to be 13 years younger. 5'10". He's going to be 2 inches taller, and he's going to have a 1 inch reach advantage. For me, I mean, it's a Bonfim spot probably. Like the line is minus 500. I don't know. I think that's a bit wide. I think it should be a bit lower, but I do think he's the rightful favorite and probably the rightful heavy favorite. He's young. He's still improving. He's already a really, really good boxer. His striking is really clean. He's accurate. His output is solid, and his striking defense is very good. He's good at maintaining range and moving away from shots when it's coming back his way. The main red flag with him is the grappling, right? The grappling, even at this point, it still seems to be a little bit weak. Out of his 4 losses, all 4 come by submission. I'd be a little bit more concerned for him if Vinc had a single sub on his record. But despite being a black belt, Vinc doesn't have a single submission on his record, and he doesn't really go for them. So while that could possibly be a path for him, and I can see a world where he does get some takedowns, I do think Bonfim's takedown defense is mostly pretty good. Pichel has not been Wasantani. He's not as big, not as physical, not as dangerous. I just don't really see him coming out there and doing something similar to what BSD did. I think the most likely outcome is Pichel. He's good at range too. I can see him being competitive, maybe mixing in some takedowns, but I think Bonfim will back him up. He's good at cutting the cage. I think he's going to land the much more significant shots, the much cleaner shots, and I think Bonfim's just going to box up Pichel. So for me, it's a Bonfim spot. Not going to come out here and play minus 500, but his decision prop is plus 200, and I think Pichel is pretty durable. And the way I'm thinking is maybe Bonfim round 3 or decision, because he doesn't have insane power where he comes out and just sparks people in round 1, right? And then round 2, yeah, he finished Terrence, but Terrence has no cardio after round 1. Pichel, he has cardio. He's probably not going to cardio gas. And he's durable. So I can see Pichel making it to the decision, even if he's losing. I can see him getting finished late. But I think the round 3 decision on DraftKings will be an interesting look. Real quick, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. Glenbot, is there a world where Vinc wins it? Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. That's why I can't possibly touch minus 500, can't parlay it, nothing like that. Because at the end of the day, I could see Pichel coming out here getting some takedowns. I could see Pichel landing on the feet also, because I don't think the gap on the feet is crazy wide. Like Bonfim is much cleaner, more technical, but Pichel throws a lot. He's very funky. He's got a very funky, unique style to his striking. I think he can be competitive. I think he's going to lose, but yeah, I could see a split decision win for him. Lawn Top cooked me. Yeah, I mean, I only had him in one parlay, so it wasn't horrible, but that sucked. Like, come on, man. Come on. What's up, Hadim? It is fight week. Thank you for tuning in, brother. All right, so that's it. That's Bonfim and Pichel. Bonfim is a pick. I'll be looking at round 3 decision. Moving on, we've got Dione Barbosa versus Ernesta Kareckaite. Barbosa 6'2" she's 31 years old. 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. On the other side, Kareckaite 5-0 undefeated. She's 25, so she's going to be 6 years younger. She's going to be 3 inches taller, and she's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I don't get it. I don't get why people like Kareckaite so much. I'm on Barbosa here. I played her inside the distance at plus 500. I was going to do the sub, but the difference wasn't much, so I might as well cover myself if she gets ground and pound. And I'm going to be looking throughout the week. I might play it again if I can get I'm thinking maybe decision or submission for Barbosa. If I can get that at plus money, I'm going to play that. For me, I think Kareckaite is incredibly overrated just because of that Dana White's Contender Series performance. Was it one of the best women's fight on the Contender Series ever? Yes. Was it possibly one of the best fights, period, on the Contender Series? Yes. It was super high action, a lot of fun, a lot of striking. But at the end of the day, Kareckaite was fighting Judas, who was 3-0 at the time, also incredibly green, not a high-level grappler by any means, and it was a close fight. And what did Kareckaite show? She showed that she's extremely hittable. She showed that, yes, she has great output, but her striking's not technical. It's a lot of just little flurries, nothing super impressive in the striking other than the output. And then you have to go to her regionals for the grappling. But, I mean, she's getting out-grappled by a 40-year-old Letitia Blott. She's getting taken down and completely controlled, and she's got nothing to offer. She doesn't have any kind of grappling background, and I think she's going to be an absolute fish out of water on the ground. Barbosa's a good fighter. I don't know why people are lining up to fade her. It doesn't make any sense to me. Can she be a little bit – I said plus 200, my brother. If I said plus 500, my bad. But can Barbosa be a little bit submission over position sometimes? Yeah, she can slide off. Is Kareckaite someone who's going to push that? No, I don't think so. It doesn't seem to me like she's going to have good submission defense. Barbosa is really clean down there, other than, sometimes giving up position. She's dangerous on the mat. She's got solid wrestling, solid takedowns, solid throws and trips. And her striking is competitive too. I don't think Kareckaite is a much better striker than her, if at all. Maybe she'll have higher output, sure, but I think Barbosa is going to hit harder and hit cleaner. So for me, it's a pretty easy Barbosa spot. I don't know how else I'm going to play it yet. I'm not really in the business of parlaying minus 200 WMMA fights. I'm not in the business of parlaying all that much anymore, period. I've been having a bad run with parlays. But yeah, I like Barbosa here. I think she's going to finish Kareckaite. I think she's a better mixed martial artist. I just think Kareckaite is incredibly green still. MMA clips with me. All tape on Ernesta prior showed a low-level mid-striker. Yeah, and I mean, even I get like she's young. She's going to improve fight to fight, right? That's why she looked different in her regionals and her contender. But we have to put it into perspective. She was fighting Judas, who's so green. Judas is great. She has a great chance to be a really good fighter. But right now, she's incredibly green. Reminds me a lot of Joseph Holmes. That's a similar one for me. A guy who had everything it takes to be really good. A guy who a lot of people were super hype on the Contender Series and afterwards. And a guy who dropped the ball and wasn't very good. So, yeah, for me, it's Barbosa. What's up, Pick'em MMA? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Straight bets are the way long term. Yeah, it's been mostly straight bets for me. And no, sorry. Last week was pretty much all props only props that cashed. We cashed the round 3 Victor Henry, and we cashed the round 3 on what's her face? Petrovic. So that was nice. Parlay's been cooking for Fight Realm. Yeah, I need you to rub off on me a little bit. My parlays have been crap recently. And yeah, Barbosa sub was my look, but because ITD was a similar price, I just went with the ITD because why not? We've seen the ground and pound happen before. All right, moving on. We've got Mauricio Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. Ruffy is 9-1-0. He's 30 years old, 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. Mullarkey 17-7-0. He's 29. He's 1 year younger. He's going to be 1 inch taller, but he's going to be at a 1 inch reach disadvantage. For me, it's Ruffy here. I like him quite a bit. I mean, I think the line's getting pretty insane. Minus 170. You're getting a little out of hand for a guy in Ruffy who, while there's a lot to like, he can be a little low output and he can start very slow like he did in the Contender Series fight. He possibly gave up both rounds and not a great look the way he did that in the first 2. He was very tentative, very hesitant. That might be because he was fighting a really dangerous grappler, so maybe he didn't want to really pop off and then give up a position and give up a takedown. But I would be careful. I'd be careful laying minus 170. I played Ruffy at minus 130. Thought that was a good line, but now we're starting to get a bit crazy. Mullarkey, he's still pretty good. Like I was watching him back. He's got fast hands. He's a good striker, good leg kicks, goes to the body pretty well. He's well-rounded. He can mix in the grappling. He's not a bad fighter by any means. He's a good fighter, Mullarkey, in my opinion. He just has some issues. The chin is definitely an issue. The striking defense is definitely an issue. He's been dropped 4 times in 10 UFC fights, so he's been dropped in 40% of his UFC fights. He's been knocked out in 3 of those, so he's been knocked out in 30% of his UFC fights. And he's fighting a guy here in Ruffy who's a very clean striker, fighting out of Fight Nerds, maintains range very well. I like the combos. I like everything he does. He's got a lot of different tools on the feet, good knees, good kicks, good elbows, all of that good stuff. And I just think that he's likely to finish Mullarkey here. If he comes out here and actually throws in the first 2 rounds too, and comes out being more active, I think this should be an easy fight for him. I have a concern that he's not going to make it easy for himself. I have a concern that he's going to come out, start slow, and make this a really close fight. So if you're holding minus 170, you might be a little bit pissed off. That's why I'm saying I don't think that's necessarily a great move. But I get it. And I do think Ruffy should be able to find that chin. But I'd be careful. Because Ruffy also, I didn't mention this, his chin is a bit up in the air as well. He's good at maintaining range and moving away when shots are coming his way. But the chin is up there and it can be caught. Mullarkey, though, when he's not comfortable on the feet, when he's not winning on the feet, and if he's not winning on the feet here, he usually goes for the wrestling. And I will say Ruffy has real good takedown defense, like really good. I saw that in his regional tape leading up to the Contender Series. I saw that his takedown defense was very good. Everything he did was right. Goes for hand control, good underhooks, good hips. And I think he should be able to stuff anything Mullarkey sends his way. So for me, it's Ruffy. I think a low-key look here is Ruffy by decision at like plus 500, plus 600. There's a chance he doesn't knock out Mullarkey here. Mullarkey doesn't always have an abysmal chin. Sometimes it's fine and it holds up. And if it holds up here, I can still see Ruffy winning. I don't think he's knockout or bust. But I do think that Mullarkey, I do think Ruffy can win a decision as well. I got thrown off over here. My guy Leonardo tuning in. Thank you, my brother, for the support. Always great when you like and comment on the videos. All right, moving on, though. In that one, we're going with Ruffy. We're going to go with Ruffy KO, but I think a decision's low-key live. That prop's interesting to me. But moving on, we've got Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. Silva, 13-4-0, 36 years old. He's 5'8", with a 69-inch reach. On the other side with Klose, he's 14-2-1. He's 36. He's 1 year older. Going to be 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 1 inch reach advantage. For me, this is close. I think Klose should take this. I think Klose will probably knock him out. For me, Silva's very low output. He's always looking to counter. He is ripped. He's shredded to the gills. The dude is very, very, very shredded, very strong, very physical, compact, tight dude. His striking is fine. It's pretty good. Nothing crazy. He's got a nice hook, a nice jab. He'll go to the body pretty well. The output is pretty trash. And he doesn't separate himself in the striking exchanges. He doesn't lead the exchanges. You watch him with Clay Guida. Guida was extremely competitive with him on the feet, even hurt him like 2 times. He's been hurt in so many fights. And Drakkar Klose, he's a good striker. He's well-rounded. He can grapple, even though I think that would be a bad idea here. No reason to give Silva the opportunities for a front choke or a guillotine. If he does get him down, Silva's not crazy off his back, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. But if I'm close, just keep it on the feet. You're the better guy on the feet. I don't know why he chose to grapple with Rafa. I thought that was a lapse of fight IQ personally. He shot like 10 takedowns just by being the much better striker. If he does something like that here, that could be concerning. But I do think his striking is better. I think his output is better. I trust his chin a lot more. And I just think he's more durable and just a better fighter. So I think Klose should win. I think he's probably going to knock out Silva. I did play Klose at minus 180. The line is better now. I think you can get like minus 150, which I like a lot. So, yeah, I like Klose. Think he gets the finish here. My guy Eric in the chat. What's up, Eric? Appreciate you always, brother. Hope you're doing good. But all right, let's move on. Next up, we've got Gene Silva versus William Gomis. Silva, he's 12-2-0, 27 years old, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. On the other side, we've got Gomis. He's 13-2-0, 26. He's 1 year younger. Going to be 4 inches taller, and he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. This is a weird one for me. I like Silva. I was going to play him at minus 138, and then I decided to sleep on it. Literally, like go to sleep and wake up and decide. And I woke up to Silva at like minus 170, so that was gone. And then I started considering Gomis, but here's the thing for me. And if any of you guys have an idea, drop it in the chat. When I'm going to play a dog, I need to know that there's an angle, how they win. I need to be able to game it out in my head. And I can't game it out. What does a Gomis win look like? Is it just like the classic low output, maintain the range, land some pitter-patter, and win a decision? Is he going to be able to do that? No one's really been putting the pressure on him. When Aaron's chose to put on the pressure on him, he was able to land. He was able to hurt him. He was able to look good. Aaron just didn't throw for some reason in that fight. When he fought Francis Marshall decided not to fight till there was like 2.5 minutes left in the fight. But when he was going, when he was pushing, he was having success. When Gomis is on his back foot, he's not doing a lot. He's not looking too great. He's usually on the back foot anyways. He's usually just moving laterally. He'll throw a lot of leg kicks. Those are good. He'll throw a lot of kicks in general. And all of his kicks are good. And the hands are good too when he's actually throwing them. Nice, fast, crisp, even in the pocket, pretty good. But he doesn't throw the hands a lot. He focuses mostly on kicks. And if someone's in his face, I think he struggles. His output is very low in general, even with the kicks. And if someone's going to be in his face the whole time, and someone's going to be throwing his way the whole time, and he's not able to get takedowns, I don't know how he's going to win. And Silva, the only thing that, I don't have too much of a read on is his takedown defense, is his counter grappling. If Gomis shoots, can Silva stuff the takedowns? I don't fully know. I think yes, from the little bit I've seen, I don't think that Gomis is an amazing wrestler, and I think Silva should have decent takedown defense. But at the same time, I don't know. The only time anyone really tested it in the UFC was against Weston Wilson, and Wilson got him down. Couldn't hold him down, but he got him down. So I wouldn't be shocked if Gomis could make some of those takedowns. That's why I'm not running to the window to bet Silva at minus 150 or 70, whatever it's at. But I think that Silva is the rightful favorite. He's much more explosive, much more dangerous. I think the striking is super clean. I like it a lot. I like how the way he moves in, lands his stuff, then gets the hell out of the way of anything coming back his way. And I just think he's more dangerous. I think he's going to land the better shots. I think he's more likely to finish. I think he can win the decision. Would I be super shocked if Gomis maintained the range, mixed in takedowns and won? I wouldn't be. But at the same time, it's hard for me to game it out and see it actually happening. So for me, it's Silva here. And that's the pick. Let's see what we got here. Go tape the Harila fight. Okay, dog. Dog is the strangest person I ever met. The dude has 2 units on John Silva, but he spent the last 2 days arguing for William Gomis. Fight realm, guess Gomis wins by decision. Yeah, if he wins, he probably wins by decision. Thinking about playing the Gomis line. I don't blame you. I know a few people on it. I don't think I can get there. Gomis should be really worried for the future of his career. Slick head kicks, I could see those landing. Yeah, the boxing is nothing. Like, he's not throwing enough with his hands. It would be different if he was. But I hate guys who are only quick kick heavy. And he did give him trouble. If Aaron's threw more, he's winning that fight, in my opinion. Gomis boxing of good, but 1.5 shots at a time. Yeah, I mean, but he's not doing those often. Like, even the 1 or 2 shots at a time, he's not throwing those too often. And Dog saying Silva's down to minus 132 on Bet Online. Is he? Oh, shit. Yeah, he is. All right. Well, that's going on the list then. There's 2 fights I want to retape for this card. It's this one, and it's the Oralbai fight. Write that down for myself. All right. Let's move on. Next up, we got Elves Brener versus Mykybek Oralbai. Brener, he's going to be 16, 3 and 0, 26 years old. He's 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. On the other side, we got Oralbai. He's 12, 1 and 1. He's 26 as well. He's 5'10" as well, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. This is such a funny fight because they both look so much older than they are. Both of them are 26. They're literally my age, and they both look like they're in their 30s, which is pretty funny. But this is such a good fight. This is one of my favorite fights on the card. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's one that I'm struggling with because on one side, I love Oralbai. I'm not saying in this fight. In general, I love Oralbai. I think he's a great fighter. I've been hype about him since the regionals. I played him against Medic. Thought he was going to have a significant ground game edge there, and he did. And I think he should be good here. I think he's going to have a really, really strong wrestling advantage. His wrestling is so good. The way he shoots sets them up well. He will keep chain wrestling. When he's in on the shot, he'll go for the ankle to bring his opponents down. He does everything he needs to control. He'll go for the ankles. He'll go for the hands, wrist lock. And he's just a great, great grappler. He's good at getting the back. He's good at chaining together takedowns. He's good at transitioning on the ground. And he's got good ground and pound too. And he can threaten the subs as well. And on the feet, he's not a guy. He's not one of these wrestlers who can only wrestle. I actually think his hands are pretty good too. I didn't remember it well pre-tape. Thought maybe his hands were weak. I didn't remember well. But running it back, he's clean. He's clean. Got his hands up. 1-2s down the pipe. Nice jab. Everything is clean, straight, quick. So he's super well-rounded, and he's a really, really great wrestler. On the other side, we have Brener, who so far has been really impressive in the UFC. Came in on short notice, beat Tehugov. Then he came and he finished Guram, who was beating him throughout that fight. And then he came out and he finished Krzyzewski real quick in the first. So the way I see it is Brener is the more dangerous guy on the feet, for sure. I think he's got the knockout threat. We've seen Oralbai be a bit hittable. We've seen Oralbai be hurt before. And I think someone like Brener could 100% hurt him. Brenner's also got really good submission grappling. We haven't seen it so much in the UFC so far because he's been mostly striking, but he is a good grappler. He's got good wrestling. He's got good jiu-jitsu, good submissions. And I would be a little worried with the Oralbai shooting in sometimes. Maybe it's a naked shot. He'll give up his neck. That's something Brener can take advantage of. I think the most likely outcome here is Oralbai competing in the striking, staying safe, and just getting those takedowns and grinding him out, just straight up out grappling him for 15 minutes. But at the same time, I can also see Brener being able to catch him. Brener is really powerful, explosive, and he's a good striker in his own right. I think his striking is maybe a little overrated. I was watching it back. It's good, but it's not like Mamma Mia, you know? But it is good enough where I could see him posing an issue for Oralbai. I think Bet Online had the knockout prop for Brener at plus 1,000, but I don't think they had it up quick for long because they quickly took down all the props, and now they're not putting up props at all for the Brener fight. They'll probably do it later on in the week once other books do it. So, yeah, for me, it's Oralbai, but I don't know if I can get to the price tag. I think it's too wide. Minus 270. It's hard to get there when I do think that Brener is a live dog, has a lot of finishing upside, and he's the one fighting at home here. He's the one fighting in Brazil. So it's hard to justify minus 170, 270 on Oralbai. At that point, I would rather play Brener. I'm considering it, considering a half unit shot. I'm also considering Brener by knockout or Brener ITD when those lines come out. But we'll have to wait and see. For now, Oralbai is the pick, and we can move on. Catching up with the chat real quick. The most mystical fight on the card, talking about Brener, Oralbai. Indeed, indeed. The prehistorics facing off. They both have a heart. I think they're handsome. They're handsome guys, just in their own way. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm also very, very tempted to get onto Brener here. My guy Dan, thank you, brother. Always supporting the show. Make sure you guys are supporting Dan. Half the battle. The dude is always killing it, and a really dope guy in the community. Make sure you're checking him out if you're not already. Brener 2-1 as a dog, both cashing. Yep, yeah, he's been a big dog, and once again, he's a big dog. Let's see if he pulls it off again. All right, moving on. We've got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Iasmin Lucindo. Karolina, she's 16-7-0, 38 years old, 5'3" with a 64-inch reach. Lucindo on the other side, 15-5-0. She's 16 years younger at 22. And she's going to be the same height, but she's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. So pre-tape, I thought I was 100% going to have a Karolina play. I'm of the opinion that Lucindo is tremendously overrated. I don't think she's that good. I think people are way too hype about her, and I don't fully understand why. Is she a super technical striker? No. Is she an elite grappler? No. Why are we pricing her minus 300 time and time again? I don't understand. Can she beat Karolina? Absolutely. Is she the rightful favorite? Yeah, for sure. She's got the finishing upside. She's the more powerful person on the feet. Is she a better striker technically, like technique-wise? I don't necessarily think so, but she will have more power, probably. I almost said more output, but I'm not sold on that either. I think Karolina will throw a lot too. If she's not getting stunned every strike, she'll probably have better output. So Lucindo has the pressure advantage, and she'll have the power advantage. Technique, I give to Karolina. Output, I give to Karolina. Grappling, Karolina's takedown defense needs some work. It's not the best. It's okay. She does most of the right things, but I can definitely see Lucindo getting takedowns here, which, is further why I understand her being a favorite. But is it going to be easy? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I think Karolina might be able to stuff a lot of the takedowns. But again, especially now with the way judging is very damage based, damage first, damage, and who's going to do more damage? I think that's pretty clearly going to be Lucindo. Who's more live to get a finish at any point in the fight? Lucindo, whether it's standing or on the ground. And for Karolina to win, she needs 15 perfect minutes of stuffing the takedowns, moving laterally, avoiding all the big shots, and landing her own. And I think she might struggle to do that. So the pick is Lucindo for me. Not going to play Karolina after all, but I can't understand parlaying Lucindo at minus 330. If a favorite dropped the ball and broke a bunch of parlays, I think it might be Lucindo. I think she's overrated as hell, personally. MMA clips on Lucindo here. Yeah, I can get it for sure, but just parlaying her a ton, I don't know about that. All right, moving on. We've got Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Brito is 16-3-1. 29 years old. He's 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. On the other side, Shore is 17-1-0. 29, he's going to be the same age, same height, and he's going to be at a 1-inch reach disadvantage. So for me, this is Brito, and the line's moving towards Shore, which is interesting. Minus 145 Brito now. Line's coming back in a little bit. But I don't love Shore at 45. I was always a Shore truther. I've backed him in all of his fights pretty much. I think all of them actually. And I even backed him against Simone in the fight that he lost. But he's a good 35er. He's a big 135er. And that's probably part of the reason he's had so much success. But now at featherweight, I don't know. I don't love it for him. He hasn't really fought anyone that scary yet at 45. He only fought Makwan Amirkhani. And Makwan, we all know how he is. He's like a Terrence McKinney type, like a Na Liang type. He'll win round one in a really high clip, and then he just falls off a cliff. And he was able to take Shore down, and then he got tired. Shore got him down and submitted him. Shore's a really good grappler, really well-rounded, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. And the striking is pretty good, but I don't think it's like crazy by any means. I don't think he's much of a knockout threat. I don't think he has much power. He's a bit cleaner than Brito, but that's really it. Brito's going to hit a lot harder. Brito goes to the body really nice. His striking is really clean. Not really clean. That's not true. His striking can be a little wild, but his striking is nice. I like what I'm seeing. I think he's a good striker. He's a good counter striker. Would be nice if he threw a little bit more straight down the pipe. He doesn't really do that all too much. He looks to counter a lot with his hooks. But I think that should be enough here. I don't think that Shore is going to run away with it on the feet. He might land a little bit more, but I think Brito's going to land much harder. And I think Brito can land his own takedowns. I think he can stuff Shore's takedowns. I can see him threatening submissions, whether he's on bottom or on top. I think he's got all the finishing upside here. And I personally think he either finds the chin of Shore or Shore, they're striking. He hurts Shore, and then Shore goes for like a sloppy takedown and he locks in like a guillotine or something. I do have some concerns because we have seen Brito taken down. We've seen Algio take him down. And I wouldn't be shocked if Shore can get his takedowns too, because Brito, he'll go for the guillotine sometimes, which will lead to him being on bottom. And he'll also sometimes he's a little too happy to play off his back because he does have a good jiu-jitsu game. As long as he doesn't do those two things, I think this is his fight to lose. I think he's a rightful favorite. I played him at minus 172. I felt like there was still some value there. And you can get an even better line now at like minus 150. So, yeah, I like Brito by finish, but it's a good fight. And honestly, I'm a little worried about it, but I think he should be good. I think he's a true 145er. He's real built. I mean, walking mini refrigerator, and Jack Shore hasn't felt anything like that yet. Even against Simone was a little too strong for him, a little too, athletic, a little too powerful. And I think Brito's going to be that, but much, much more. So for me, it's Brito, and we can move on. Next up, we got our first fight of the main card. We have Paul Craig versus Kyle Barallo. Craig, he's going to be 17-7-1, 36 years old. He's 6'3", with a 76-inch reach. On the other side, Barallo, 15-1-0. He's 31. He's 5 years younger, going to be 2 inches shorter, and he's going to be at a 1-inch reach disadvantage. I mean, Barallo is minus 500 for a reason, and I don't really think there's even that much to break down here. Barallo is the rightful favorite. Not quite sure how Craig wins. We've seen Barallo be out scrambled sometimes. We've seen him taken down, but personally, I think Muradov is a better offensive wrestler than Craig. Craig has really good jiu-jitsu, some of the best in the division, super dangerous, but he's more dangerous on the bottom than he is on top. And he's not really a guy who's coming out here and just getting tons of takedowns and winning for moments from being on top. He's usually the guy on bottom. And Barallo is a really good wrestler. I think he's going to be able to get the takedowns. Craig's takedown defense is garbage, partially because he likes to be on bottom, but still it doesn't help the fact that it's just not good, and he will be taken down in this fight. And I think Barallo, he's also really good at the jiu-jitsu, really high level, and I think that he can stay safe against Craig. I think he can lock in his own submission as the fight goes on, and I think he can land ground and pound and win the minutes there. And then on the feet, I like Barrio a lot more. I would like Barrio even better if he threw more. His output is pretty garbage, but the actual striking is clean. The jab is clean. The combos are clean. And Craig is extremely, extremely hittable, whereas Barrio is good at maintaining range. His chin is up in the air, which is a concern against harder hitters. But someone like Craig, is he going to knock him out on the feet? I think it's highly unlikely. And other than that, how does he win? Probably just a sub that he's able to catch Barrio with. And I don't think that happens at a high clip. So for me, this is a Barrio fight all day long. Can't get to the money line just because what are you going to do with minus 500? But I will be looking at round 2 and 3. I think those are decent spots depending on the line. Next up, we've got Michel Pereira versus Igor Peteria. My guy. Pereira, he's 30, 11, and 0, 30 years old, 6'1" at the 73-inch reach. Peteria on the other side, he's 21, 5 and 0, 27. He's going to be 3 years younger, 2 inches taller, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage. So I love Igor. He's such a funny dude, man. And I still, his Shogun celebration where he did the gun thing and everyone started panicking and having breakdowns and crying and saying, how could he do this to a legend? Hilarious stuff. It was so good. And then he comes out there in his last fight and he puts on a clinic. Kid looks like a stud. It was great to see. And, you know, all jokes aside, what I am seeing from Igor is a guy who is indeed young. He's 27. And you can see it. He's improving fight to fight to fight to fight. He's actually getting better. And he's doing things that he didn't do before that he saw either in tape or his coaches called for it. Like in his last fight against Brissett, right? When have we ever seen Igor fake the single and then come up top with an uppercut or a combination? Never did it before. And then he comes out there and he did it like 10 times. And Brissett kept falling for it. So to me, that shows me that his game is advancing. He is getting better. His striking, I think, is pretty decent. His grappling, not really much of a wrestler. Not really coming out getting a ton of takedowns. I don't think he's going to come out and take down Pereira. But his own takedown defense isn't bad. I think it's pretty good. He's been really losing most of these fights because his cardio hasn't been great. He's been gassing. And I thought maybe coming down to middleweight would only make that worse. But his cardio looked great last fight. He landed a bunch of shots. He kept going. He was feinting takedowns well into the third round. So if the cardio is better, I think the lines are getting pretty crazy on Igor. I think people are underrating him. If he comes out and he keeps improving and maintains that cardio, it could be good. And a guy like Pereira, he's not necessarily a guy who comes out there and pushes a crazy pace. He'll deal with whatever pace you put on him, but he won't really lead a high paced fight. He doesn't really do that. And he's had cardio issues in his own right in the past. I know most of it was when he was being real stupid, but we've seen him slow down recently. We saw him slow down in the Ponzinibbio fight. And another thing with Pereira is he kind of struggles when he's on his back foot. When people are actually pressuring him, like Fialho did, like Ponzinibbio did, he struggles. He has a hard time getting off when he's going backwards. And if Peteria pressures forward like he did in his last fight, like he did against Bellato, I think he can find a lot of success here. I think he can possibly even chin Pereira. We've seen Pereira hurt. We've seen him knocked out. And Igor hits real hard. He's a true light heavyweight. Maybe not a true light heavyweight, but he's a guy who could have very well just stayed at light heavyweight, who came down to middleweight. And I mean, he showed that power in the Bellato fight for sure. So I do think he can maybe catch Pereira. And I can see a world where he possibly wins a decision, by pushing Pereira back up against the cage and letting it rip. All that said, though, I think Pereira should win. I really do. Skill for skill, he's better. I do think he's still better. Even with Igor improving, now that Pereira stopped doing all the crazy stuff, all the fancy kicks and all that, I think he's a real good fighter. He's got a great jab, great 1-2. Combos are great. He goes to the body. Nasty, nasty kicks, especially the ones to the body, the teep to the body. Just nasty. He drains his opponent's gas tanks doing that. If he does that to Peteria, he can drain that gas tank. I'm starting to think maybe like Pereira around 2-3 could be something to look at. I think that's possibly a good angle. I do think that it'll add up. I think the body shots will add up. The damage will add up. And I just think he's a better fighter than Igor. And now that he's at middleweight, it seems like he's really in the right place. The dude looks gigantic. I mean, he looks huge. He looks huge. He's not necessarily the tallest middleweight, but he's a thick middleweight. So, yeah, for me, it's Pereira as the pick, but I think Pereira is a live dog. And I don't know if you can really rationalize minus 600 on Pereira. If anything, I'll be looking at round 2 and round 3 for Pereira. Fight goes the distance at plus 400. I don't hate it at all. I don't hate it at all. Before middleweight, Pereira wasn't finishing at a high clip. He was going mostly to decision. And we just watched Pereira go to decision. We know what it looks like. So I don't hate it at all. For a quarter unit shot, that's something I might consider, to be honest. I can see it happening. Lauren Driscoll, do you have any confident picks for this card? I mean, I have bets. You got to have a certain amount of confidence on your bets, right? But I'm betting numbers most of the time. I don't know what you mean exactly by confident. For me, right now, I have Brito minus 172, and the line is better, so you can say that I'm pretty confident. I have Drakkar close minus 180, and the line is better, so you can say I'm pretty confident there. I'm on Ruffy minus 130. I feel pretty good about it, but I think now it's a little bit crazy of a line. And I have Borjas as an underdog, but I don't know if that's what you're looking for. I think he's a good spot. I'm confident that their line is off. Confident he wins. I mean, we're going to find out on Saturday. And Barbosa, I'm pretty confident in. People get upset when you don't make a bet on every single fight, but you can't do that. You just can't, especially with the recent cards. It's hard. They're hard slates. It's not all about picking winners. You want to go pick winners? Let me know how Long Top worked out for everybody. It didn't work out for me. But all right, next up we've got Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. Smith is 37, 19, and 0, 35 years old. He's 6'4" with a 76-inch reach. On the other side, Petrino, he's 11 and 0 undefeated. He's 26. He's 9 years younger. He's going to be 2 inches shorter, but he's going to have a 1.5-inch reach advantage. So, yeah, another spot with another minus 400 or 500 fighter in Petrino. And I understand, but at the same time, I do think the line's wide. Not enough where I can bet Smith just because at this point, he's 35. He's not ancient. He's on the older side, but the guy's taken so much damage. He's had over 50 fights, and he thought Johnny Walker was robbing his family or threatening his family. Like, something's wrong there. And no one ever spoke about it. No one ever brought it up. He never said it in an interview like, oh, yeah, I don't know why I said that. People just went with it. He thought Johnny Walker was attacking his family. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. And I think the damage just really added up. That's why I can't get there. But I think it's wide because I still think even at this age, Smith is still pretty good. His striking is pretty good. There's clear power every single time he lands. The jab is sharp. The combinations are good. He can still wrestle pretty well. The jiu-jitsu is still there. He's a good fighter still. He's just slowed down. He's less explosive, and he wears the damage, you know. At this point, it has really added up. But if not for that, if I knew he wasn't damaged goods at this point, I'd be all over Smith this line. Petrino's good. He's going to be a stud. He's improving. He's very young still. But right now, he's still very green. He still shows a lot of things, you know, that aren't great. His output on the feet isn't great. His striking is good, but it's not elite, you know? He's not throwing a lot of things straight down the pipe. The jab is good, but a lot of the other stuff are just hooks. He's throwing a lot of hooks, and he's doing so at a low volume. Smith throws more than him. Smith throws straight more than him. I think Smith is going to be landing that jab on him. I think Smith is going to get some combinations off on him. So the only real advantage I give Petrino on the feet is power. That's it. And then on the ground, Petrino can wrestle. Sure, he's a good wrestler, and his takedown defense is all right. But he can be taken down. Turkalj took him down like 4 or 5 times. He can have his back taken. Turkalj took his back like twice. He gave up his back trying to get back up. So for me, Petrino's good, but to have him minus 500 over decent fighters is kind of crazy right now because you're banking on the knockout. Because other than that, how the hell does he cover minus 500? Is he going to beat Smith pillar to post? Does he have the output for it? And his cardio is not even that good either. It's good. It's improving, but it's not great. He slows down. So is he really going to beat up on Smith for 15 minutes if he doesn't finish? Is he going to submit Smith? I don't think so. I think his jiu-jitsu is still pretty green. It worked on Prashnial, but how long did it take for him to find that damn submission? Took him almost till the end of the third. So I think it's a bit of a crazy line because if you're betting on Petrino, I mean, if you think something else, drop it in the comments. Let me know I'm wrong. But if you're betting Petrino, I imagine it's because you think he knocks out Smith. At that point, just bet the knockout because I don't know. I don't know like how else he covers. I'm not saying he can't win the decision. I can see him winning it if it's a low output affair where he's just landing the bigger shots, really hurting Smith, maybe like a Rakic type performance where Smith just doesn't have anything else to offer. He can win the decision. I just don't know if he's going to cover minus 500 without a KO. So, yeah, I think it's Petrino here. I think he knocks out Smith maybe in like the second, but I think it's a crazy line, and I wouldn't be shocked if Smith could pull it off. Let me see what Smith by decision is. Smith by decision up plus 1,000 might be worth a sprinkle. Not gonna lie, might end up doing that. Just a little tenth of a unit sprinkle, because I'm telling you, I don't know how Petrino covers minus 500 over 15 minutes minus the knockout. Big takedown upside. I don't know about that. Why? Because he's landed a few good takedowns against Prachniow and Turkali. Smith is good for takedown defense. Pretty good takedown defense. He's not easy to take down by any means. If anything, I think Smith is a better wrestler than Petrino, but yeah, I get it. I guess I could see it. Why do you think so? I feel like Smith's got decent get-ups. I get it. I get it. I don't think he can cover minus 500 without the KO. Let me catch up with some people asking about earlier fights real quick. Let's see. MMA clips. Mike, do you see any path of victory for Joaquim? Probably KO. Yeah. I have. I guess I can see two. Joaquim could counter. Joaquim's got a good counter hook. He's got power. He hurt Armin with it. We all saw that. Everybody was jumping all over Charles KO because Armin got hurt by Joaquim Silva. My goodness. But yeah, he could probably catch Klose. Klose doesn't have the best striking defense, and I think he's durable. I think Klose is durable, but we have seen him hurt, right? I mean, look at the Dariush fight. He had Dariush about dead, and then he got deaded himself. So I can see that. And then I can also possibly see like a guillotine because Klose, I don't know why, but sometimes he'll shoot when he just shouldn't. Like, why did you wrestle with Rafa Garcia? That doesn't make any damn sense. Why would you even do that when you're a better striker than him? So those are concerning, but I think Klose should win that one. And then Jay asking on Borjas takedown defense. I think it's all right. I do think Costa's got good enough wrestling to get him down, but I think that Borjas has pretty good get-ups, and I think the takedown defense is improving. And something to remember is, a lot of people are pointing at the Van fight and saying, look at Van get takedowns. He's a striker. Of course, Borjas has bad takedown defense. People don't often talk about the fact that you need to set up your takedowns. In MMA, just having elite wrestling on its own with no striking won't get you anywhere. It won't get you anywhere. You have to set up those takedowns because otherwise your opponent knows the only thing they have to worry about is the takedown. That's the only thing they have to look for and prepare for and be ready to defend against. If you have striking to set up the takedowns, then it becomes difficult. Then the opponent doesn't know what's next. Is he going to come at me with his hands or is he going to shoot? Have to worry about everything. Van has phenomenal hands. He's a fantastic striker, a high output striker. Costa is the opposite. He's so low output, it made me want to smash my computer. He doesn't throw anything. So it's not like he's going to be coming out here and setting up his takedowns with elite striking. He's got good striking if he threw more, but he doesn't. So the takedowns should be pretty easy to read, and I think Borjas will be able to see them coming and be able to stuff most of them. All right, let's move on, guys. I think we're up to our co-main event of the evening. Here we've got Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. Martinez 19-4-0. He's going to be 30 years old, 5'8" with a 69.5-inch reach. On the other side, Aldo 31-8-0, 37 years old at this point. He's 7 years older. He's going to be 1 inch shorter, and he's going to have the same reach. So for me, I like Aldo here, and I want to play him as the underdog. But it's hard. It's hard to get there considering he is 37. He is coming off of retirement. Probably retiring again after this one. I don't know if he's going to make another run for it. I think he's probably done after this. So he's really just coming down to fight in Brazil, is my assumption. He wants to fight in front of his home crowd one more time. And that's concerning because skill for skill, throw everything else out the window. I think it's Aldo all day long. Jonathan Martinez's main weapon is his leg kicks. Everyone is dying over the leg kicks. We're literally talking about the king of leg kicks on the other side. We're literally talking about a guy who is great at checking kicks, who has fantastic leg kicks of his own. And suddenly, because Jonathan Martinez beat up on Giannis's boxing heavy style, he's going to come out here and leg kick Aldo to a knockout. Come on now. Let's get it together here, yeah? I mean, what is that? How? Suddenly, Aldo's just going to forget how to check a kick after all these years of having that kind of style. He's going to forget how to check kicks. You can make an argument that, Giannis is boxing heavy and Aldo has changed to a boxing heavy style and he does box now. So maybe, yeah, he will be easier leg kick. And, that's maybe a decent argument you can make. That's an okay one. But still, do I think Martinez is going to come out here and brutalize all those legs? No, I don't. And then, okay, let's put those away then. Is he that much better of a striker than Aldo that he should be minus 170, minus 150, even minus 130 with the hands? I don't think so. I think Martinez's hands are good. He's a good striker. But Aldo's elite. I mean, I love watching this dude's hands. Not only is he extremely fast, even when he was older, not only is he extremely fast, but he's just nasty. Everything's got a pop to it. Everything's got power. The body shots are just nasty. And it does suck a little bit that he's moved away from the leg kicks. I would like him to throw those again. Come out here and give Martinez a taste of his own medicine, because that was always one of his best weapons was the leg kicks. If he brings those back, I think he's so live. And even without them, I mean, I think his hands are top notch. I think Aldo is the better striker. I think he's the faster striker. I think he's the more clean striker, and I think he's got more power. Martinez, to win this, he needs to just mess Aldo up, and I don't see it. I don't see him knocking Aldo out. I don't see him 30-27ing Aldo. I think it's hilarious they picked this weight cut picture for him where he's like a skeleton of himself. But yeah, I just think it's kind of crazy. It doesn't really, unless you're pricing it purely based off of narrative, it doesn't really make sense to me. And it might be just priced that way because of narrative. It might be because I think Martinez might have even been an underdog. But other than the narrative, I don't understand why the line is like this. It doesn't really make too much sense to me. I think although dog shot is the way, I haven't done it yet. A, because I'm worried about all those things I said about the age and the retirement. I don't like that. And B, I think I might get a bit better line because the way I'm seeing people talk about Martinez, it's insane. It's unbelievable that people actually think these things. I have someone who is literally telling me that Martinez is going to finish him with leg kicks. I can't help you at that point. You're beyond help. This fight really reminds me of, you guys remember when Rob Font fought, what's his face? Yanez, and was like plus 200? Or when, what's his face? When Gutierrez fought Munoz, and Munoz was like plus 200. Y'all remember that? That's what this reminds me of, where Martinez had some good performances. He's coming in against an older guy, and everyone thinks, it's the changing of the guard. Font knocked out Yanez. Munoz knocked down Gutierrez and won that fight. I think Aldo's going to make it 3 for 3, and I think he's going to be able to beat Martinez as well. And I did see some people in here. Let me catch up real quick. Do I like the over 1.5 here? Martinez Aldo, it's 1.5. I'm seeing 2.5 at minus 260. Unless you were talking about Smith Petrino. For that one, I mean, minus 200 in a fight where both guys are hard hitters and good finishers. I don't know about that. What do I think about the Oralbai fight? Lauren, you're going to have to go back and watch. I can't recap every fight for you. I did all those fights earlier. And after I upload this video, I'm going to put up timestamps. So if you don't want to watch everything else, you can just go watch the timestamped fight for Oralbai. Battle of the leg kicks indeed. Martinez triggers same. That would be real nice. Hey, it's not a bad look. I saw you guys talking about the takedowns. I don't really know if Aldo's going to wrestle all that much at this point of his career. And Martinez does have good takedown defense, but it might be something to mix in. Might be a good thing to do for Aldo. Let's see what we got. Aldo all day. Aldo finish only a must bet. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't know if it's a must bet just because I can see him winning a decision too. And I guess I can see. I have a hard time seeing Martinez finish him. I want to say I guess I can see it, but I don't really know if I can see it indeed. Like, I think this line's pretty nuts. And I'm surprised at how many people want to play Martinez at chalk. But we can move on. Next up, we've got our main event of the night, and it's such a good fight we got here. We've got Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. Pantoja, he's going to be 27-5-0. He's 34 years old. He's 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. On the other side, Erceg 12-1-0. He's 28. He's 6 years younger. He's going to be 3 inches taller, and he's going to have a half-inch reach advantage. So this is an interesting fight, and it's crazy that Erceg is getting a title shot off of a match Schnell knockout, but I do understand that the state of the division was pretty bad. Now seeing Alex Perez come out there and just take out Nicolau makes you wonder if maybe it should have been Mykybek after all who got the shot. And I think it probably should have been Mykybek after all who got the shot, but I get giving it to Erceg. Erceg's looked really, really good in all 3 of his fights. He did give up the first round to Dvorak, but after that he took over. In the Costa fight, he low-key might have given up a round, but again, he looked pretty good. And in the Schnell fight, he looked real clean. But I don't know if I'm ready to bet on him versus Pantoja. I don't know if I can get there just yet. Maybe if I got the plus 200, maybe if I got like a plus 250, I thought if anything, Pantoja would be like minus 300, and he's not. So I don't think I can get there. Erceg's a clean striker. Don't get me wrong. He's a very clean striker, and he has a surprising amount of power for a guy who looks like he works at IT or something. I mean, he's like a Corey Sandhagen type, right? Where he doesn't look scary at all, but you put him in the cage, take his shirt off, and he is extremely scary, and he does have knockout power, and he does create angles, and he does have good hands and fast hands. But I don't know, man. I don't know. The thing is, we haven't really seen Erceg deal with someone like Pantoja yet. We haven't seen Erceg fight somebody with the jiu-jitsu of Pantoja, with the wrestling of Pantoja. We've seen him fight guys who tried to grapple him before, and he's got very good takedown defense, and he's a very, very good scrambler as Erceg. But he hasn't fought a Pantoja type. Is he going to be able to stuff Pantoja's takedowns? Is he going to be able to defend against Pantoja on the ground? I am not sold that he's going to be able to. He might. The scrambling is really good, like I said. He might end up coming in here and being incredibly hard to hold down for Pantoja. We don't really know. That's why I don't know how you can be super confident on either side. I don't know how you can max bet Pantoja when you know Pantoja is more than happy to engage in a brawl and Erceg's got good hands, or, that Erceg might have good scrambling and might be able to defend against Pantoja. But I don't know how you can get to Erceg knowing that on the feet, Pantoja is still going to be competitive. And on the ground, you can't possibly be confident with this little information that Erceg will be able to defend against Pantoja. Now, real quick, Erceg is a national champ at wrestling, bro. Do you know how many people in the UFC are champions of wrestling in some way or another? It doesn't mean you're going to be able to stuff every takedown. I mean, what Volkanovski's also a national wrestling champion. Is he able to out-grapple every single person? Does that mean he can stuff Islam's takedowns, all of them? No. So, yeah, I mean, right now I have to stick with Pantoja. I think the dude's an absolute dog. He's championship caliber. He's fought the much better competition. He's a high-level grappler. His wrestling is very good, but his jiu-jitsu is just elite. And his striking is good too. His striking, now it is a little bit wild. And my main concern here is his chin can be wobbled, and he will engage in brawls. And Erceg will be cleaner in those brawls. Erceg will be the one creating angles. Erceg will be the one with the faster hands. So I can see that angle for Erceg having an advantage. But I don't think it's going to be super wide. And right now, without more information on Erceg against better grapplers, I can't possibly be confident that he's going to be able to defend against Pantoja. So I'm passing in terms of a bet. I think I'm just going to pass. If Erceg becomes champ, awesome. I mean, I've been hype about him since day one. I've been an Erceg truther. I backed Erceg against Dvorak as a big underdog. I love the guy. I think it's awesome he's fighting for a title. And if he wins, great. And at the same time, if Pantoja wins, also great because I love Pantoja. He's one of my favorite active fighters. So I'm going to stay away from a bet in terms of that. But I am going to pick Pantoja to win. If the line gets crazy, if a lot of money comes in on Erceg and everyone thinks this is Zilia Tapuria all over again, then I might get to Pantoja if it's like minus 150, something like that, because I think that's very generous on a guy like Pantoja, who has already defended his strap against good fighters, against a guy in Erceg who's just very untested still. But I get it. I get why people want to back Erceg. Like I said, there's a few good reasons to like him here, but there's still a lot of unknowns. And if I'm going to bet based on assumptions and guesses, I want a better line than plus 160 or whatever it is now. Plus 163. Yeah, I would need a lot better than that. Let me catch up real quick. Let's see what we got. Erceg with the upset and new. Let's go, Erceg. Bedtime, sleeps Pantoja round 1. Everyone on Erceg. What do you think about the over under 3.5? It's tough because on one side you can say both guys are really good finishers, so it should be an under spot because Pantoja is a great finisher and Erceg's a great finisher. But on the other hand, you might say, Pantoja's pretty durable. Erceg is durable. And if you think Erceg does have the counter grappling to win, then you might think that it might go over, or you might be more hesitant to play that under. We already went over that. Pantoja hasn't fought an Erceg type. He beat washed up Moreno for the belt in a close decision. I wouldn't say Moreno was washed up yet. He fought way different in the Royval fight. Defend against Royval by out grappling him. Well, I mean, that's the point, right? Is that he has that grappling that he can't out grapple people, that he doesn't always have to be the better striker. Yeah, Royval was the better striker on there, and Erceg might be also. But Pantoja still has the striking to compete, to win minutes, and to mix in the takedowns. And I think that's what's important. So it comes down to, do you think Erceg scrambling will translate against a guy like Pantoja? That's what it comes down to me. And I would disagree that he hasn't fought an Erceg type. What does that really mean even? Like, he's fought good strikers and he's fought good grapplers. And he's fought guys with both. He's fought Manel Kops. He's fought Moreno. He's fought, what's his face? Royval. Who else is on there? Massacred Perez, who we were all throwing out the window till he looked great this last week. The dude has fought top guys. So I don't know if I can say he's never fought an Erceg, but I know I can say Erceg's never fought a Pantoja. I don't even know what this means. I've been hearing this all week. I don't even know what this means. And that's a fact right there. MMA is a different beast. Accolades in wrestling don't always translate. Absolutely. Erceg will defend the takedowns and light up Pantoja. Hey, man, if that's your read, hammer that baby, because I'm not playing no side. Pantoja leaves himself open all the time because he trusts his chin. Yeah, but do I trust his chin at chalk? I don't think so. So that's one of the things keeping me off of Pantoja. Only a matter of time before that chin expires. Yeah, that's true. But hey, we've seen it both ways, right? We've seen the chin expire with Ferguson, and then we've seen the chin just reinvigorate, like with Holloway. So who knows? And then my guy Glembot. Thank you, brother. Smash the likes indeed, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following me on Couch Warrior Pod on Twitter. That's where I post all my bets as soon as I make them. My final slates, my thoughts, everything is up on there. And yeah, guys, that's 14 fights. That's UFC 301 in Brazil. Awesome card. A lot of good fights, a lot of violent fights. We should have a lot of finishes. And the main event is real interesting. We got this guy Erceg coming in out of nowhere, and he's actually got a real good shot to get the title. And on the other side, we got a really dominant, good champion in Pantoja, who's an absolute dog, and really looking forward. So yeah, guys, that's it for me. My YouTube shorts, as always, will come up tomorrow on Wednesday. I'll be uploading them probably later on in the night. It's going to be, as always, 1 minute video breakdown for every single fight on the card. And if you prefer short style breakdowns, that should be right down your alley. And then, so for next week, I do want to say, if you weren't here in the beginning of the show, for next week and the week after, I'm going to be away. I'm flying away to Thailand on Friday. So the shows won't be live. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is going to be like. I don't know what anything's going to be like there. I'm breaking down all the fights this week. I'm finishing this stream, and I'm going to start taping next week's card immediately. And yeah, so the videos will be coming out next week and the week after, but they won't be live. Not positive yet what time they're going to be up on. And we'll see if there's going to be shorts. There might not be, just because it's going to be hard for me to do all that while I'm away also. So yeah. And also, if you guys aren't already in the Discord, make sure you do that. The Couch Warrior Podcast Discord, 100% free. I don't charge you a cent just so you can come in and talk with us. It's completely free. And you get my bets, you get my breakdowns, you get my notes for every single fight, and you get MMA discussions for every single fight card, whether it's UFC, PFL, or all other regionals. The link is in the bio of this video. You can find it in the bio of my YouTube bio link tree, or in my Twitter link tree as well, that the Discords and all of those. And all right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Peace out and good luck this weekend.